Today I'm showing a video of me decorating these birthday cookies. Come join me. So after baking these cookies, I jumped right in. So here I am working on a confetti cookie. I'm doing some birthday hats, some gifts, some cupcakes, and just a variety of birthday designs. So I used a thick consistency for the green dots that I added, and here I am using a flood consistency of yellow, using my scribe tool to drag the icing around the edges and around those dots. Here I'm using a paintbrush with a little bit of water to just kind of blend those together and help to even out the color, the icing on this cookie. Here I'm using a thicker consistency of orange icing on a birthday hat cookie. I'm using a paintbrush with some water on it to help me pull that icing throughout the cookie. So I do this sometimes when I don't want to make multiple bags of colors. So I just kind of use a paintbrush to help spread that icing out. Adding some polka dots to this cookie. This is a kind of a mix, whether between a thick consistency and a flood consistency, probably closer to a flood consistency. Here I'm using some white to just kind of make a fuzzy look on the hat. And going back to that first cookie, this is a confetti cookie, so I wanted to add that top design to this cookie. I'm using a wet paintbrush to get any creases off of that piece of confetti that I just added. And now I'm going back and adding some additional green dots so that you can see them from behind that piece of confetti. I'm going to a second hat cookie, and I'm just kind of drawing some zigzags and using the scribe tool to pull that out to the sides. Here I am using some yellow flood consistency icing to fill in between those zigzags. I'm adding some orange polka dots. I'm going to use that paintbrush to push those dots down. And I'm using some white to do the ball on the top of that hat. For another cookie, I'm using like a mint green, and again using that water method with the paintbrush to help pull it out to the sides of the cookie. It does take longer to cover a cookie this way, but again, I don't always want to do multiple bags based on the different consistencies. And there you go with that background for the cookie. Now I'm going and I'm adding some that confetti piece to this cookie. I'm using a paintbrush to help push that color down into the icing and going back in and adding some yellow dots to this confetti cookie. Now moving on to a gift cookie, and this one I'm just doing in a flood pink. And I'm using a purple in a flood consistency. It's probably a little thicker than a flood consistency, but working on a bow on this second cookie. Again, using that paintbrush with some water to help flatten down and spread that icing. Here I am using some red icing, and I'm using the scribe tool to pull that icing over to the sides to fill in the packaging. Using that purple color to fill in the ribbon of this second box. Here I'm going and I'm fixing up this other confetti cookie. Going back into the background of this cookie, and I'm adding some orange to the packaging. This looks like it's a flood consistency, and I'll use my scribe tool to fill in the gaps where the icing isn't going by itself. I'm using a paintbrush here to push those dots down into the icing. And now I'm adding the confetti piece to this cookie. Adding the vanilla icing with yellow flooding in the background of this packaging. And again, I'll use the scribe tool to pull that icing where it's not going on its own. I'm going in and adding some yellow dots to the packaging of this gift. Also added some purple dots to that package, and here's some purple confetti. Adding some dots along the confetti of this cookie. And using a paintbrush to just kind of flatten out and smooth out those dots. And lastly, I'm doing some cupcake cookies. These are just cookies that are shaped like cupcakes. I'm outlining this one in black and smoothing out those lines a little bit. Here I am doing a brown cupcake wrapper. I don't show the rest of me decorating these cupcakes really. I'm filling in this cupcake wrapper. So very soon you'll see me just kind of pan to the actual cupcakes. And with that, that's going to finish up these cupcakes. If you enjoyed watching me decorate these videos, decorating these cookies, I do encourage you to come and like, comment, subscribe, and make sure that you don't miss other content. So here's what these cookies look like. And again, thank you so much for joining me as I decorated these cookies.